Hi guys, welcome to the channel of a Queen Divine, where messages get delivered right on time. So as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about the domestication of humans. Now, I know when you normally hear the term domestication, we normally think of the taming of an animal, but has anyone ever stopped to think about how us humans are also domesticated? In my notepad today, I have a list of words, and I'm going to give you guys examples of how we have been domesticated. As children, we look at the adults as gods, masters, and as a result, we subconsciously pick up on their habits. The first word I have is gossiping. Now, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm just speaking in general. If this does not resonate with you, okay. If it does, great, you understand. An example of gossiping, a lot of times while we're children, we see or hear about, other relatives or the adults' friends, or even us going through certain things in life, whether it be good, whether it be bad. Majority of bad news, and we witness the adults, making that phone call and calling their friends and calling all of our family, or just calling pretty much anyone they could vent to, and they gossip. About each other's, business. And a lot of times as children, we be open, we be outspoken, we speak our mind, we be honest, we speak our truth for the most part. And a lot of times we'll hear the words, what happens in this house stays in this house. But you notice when it comes to like your business, whether you get suspended from school, whether you start your period, whether anything, your business never really stays in the house. You witness your whole family finding out, friends of your relatives finding out. So gossiping is a huge one, because we grow up and we do that, like instead of, keeping people's business to ourselves and maybe trying to help, we will call friends, call family, and we'll gossip. We'll talk about their situation rather than come up with a plan on how we can help them. And even if they do give them advice, or lend them a helping hand, that is also something that's mentioned while gossiping. A lot of times you witnessed them laughing about a person's downfall or a person's situation, making a joke out of it. And don't get me wrong, I am no saint. I'm not just speaking to bash anyone. I'm speaking from experience as a child and as an adult. These are things that I have done as well. And that is something I had to face and still with on my own, and realize that I've been domesticated. And I don't want to domesticate my kids into believing that if a friend, family member trusts you with a secret, or, just their business, their trauma, etc., that I don't want them to believe that that's just an open door to call other people and laugh at them, or, talk down on them, or just try to get brownie points for being able to help them as a friend should. So yeah, gossip is the number one word that I have down. And gossip is a huge way of how we are domesticated. So yeah, moving on. The next word I have is judging. Now, as children, from the very beginning, we are just free as a bird, with no care or no worry in the world. You witness the adults judging their family, judging their friends, judging strangers. And as you get older, they start to judge you too. If you're shy, why don't you don't talk enough? If you outspoken, you talk too much. If you gain a little weight, look at you getting fat. If you lose a little weight, look at you getting skinny. If it's something that you feel like you want to do, say you start drawing and coloring and you feel like you want to be an artist. As you get older, they start to make you believe that what you want to do isn't that important. As you get older, they tell you how to dress. They tell you the type of person you should date. They tell you who you should be. They tell you everything you should be. And it forces us to grow up being people pleasers subconsciously. Your personality will change just solely based on who you are around. And you grow up and you start judging strangers, judging your friends, judging your family. And then when no one's around, you start judging yourself. You start judging yourself for certain things that certain features you may have. And growing up, society, social media has become a huge impact that prolonged that domestication. You go on social media and you see certain women shaped certain ways. And because you already have that formed in your mind, you start to judge yourself based off of the indifference between you and this supermodel. You start to judge yourself based on your skin. If you're looking at someone who has finer skin or finer hair or just everything, and it's almost like you're domesticated to believe that you just have to always be who other people want you to be. You can never really be comfortable being who you are. And for a long time, I didn't realize how much of a people pleaser I was being. I didn't realize how much I didn't really know myself. I had to sit with myself and really think about, what do I really like? What do I really like to do? Who am I really? Without putting myself in position to live up to other people's expectations. And it was like a hard pill to swallow. And when you do your shadow work and you dig deeper and you go back, you realize how much you've been forced or trained to squeeze in a box, you know? So yeah, judging is a huge one as well. And once you realize that no one has to be judged, you are free to be who you are. You can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to be a people pleaser. You can please yourself. You can make yourself happy. You don't need confirmation. You just live up to your own expectations. Just live up to your own expectations. And honestly, you never really know what other people are going through, what demons other people are fighting, how they're suffering, how they're getting by. So that alone is a good enough reason to not judge people. Moving on, the next word that I have is competition. Now, if you are someone who has had siblings or witnessed, favoritism as a child, I would say that would be the start of the domestication of competition. Because if you had to witness your siblings being treated a certain way that you weren't treated, or getting shown more love or more nurturing or more caring or more important, if you are someone who had to witness that and you weren't the one being favored, then I would say that is the start of the domestication of competition. Because when you are witnessing your other siblings being treated with favor, and you aren't getting treated like they're being treated. Of course you love your siblings, but it does put you in a way of feeling competitive towards them, because what are they doing to get what you aren't getting? And so you start to look at them as competition, and you start to compete with them. You start to try to outdo them. You try to, do more to get what they're getting. You want that love. You want that nurture. You want that care. You want to feel important, So, of course, you love your siblings, but you start to look at them a certain way, like, yeah, I think I got some competition, because I want my mother's love. I want my father's companion. I want, And so if you are someone who's not getting that, and you're watching other siblings receive these things you aren't getting, it domesticates you into that competitive mode. And even as you get older, you start to be competitive. Anytime you want something that someone else wants, you automatically just assume that you have to fight for it. You're in competition, and it's like, it's not even always like that. It's just when you get so used to feeling like you have to compete for love or for whatever it might be, when you grow up feeling like that, it becomes something that's almost instant. If it's someone who wants the exact same thing you want or need the exact same thing you need. And like I said, we pick up on these habits subconsciously, meaning we won't realize it until we're older, until we actually decide to do that shadow work. But it's so many other ways, so many other words, so many other examples of how we have been domesticated to be the way we are today as adults. And the good thing about it is, once you can come face to face with how you are as a person, because a lot of times we avoid doing that inner work. We avoid sitting with ourselves and getting to the root of our ways, how we are, our toxic ways, just the ways of being who we are. And once you sit with yourself and take in all the toxic ways, all the characteristics, all the habits, all the everything, once you're able to get to the bottom of it and dig deeper, it'd be a relief when you realize you don't have to be domesticated. You don't have to be who these people wanted you to be. You don't have to talk about people. You don't have to judge them. You don't have to. Just be free. Just be who you are and let others be who they are. And it's just that simple. So the real question here is, will you stay domesticated? Will you domesticate your children? Or will you break the chains and let them be free? That is all I have today. I hope you did find this video interesting and informing. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. God bless, and I'll see you on the next. Bye, guys.